Hello, everyone, and welcome. I am so excited about my guests that I have today. They are two absolutely beautiful, heart-centered, conscious beings here to share a powerful message with you. So please help me to welcome Martin Cowart and Abba King. Welcome, welcome, and welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
It's so good to have you both with us. And my excitement really is kind of boiling over because what you are here to share is something that can truly transform every single person who is listening in a way that they have never, ever been transformed before. So this is what excites me about you. Martin Cowart, you are the founder of Financial Heart Space, which just even saying those three words are really beautiful, putting them together. And Abba King, you are joining us literally from Africa, and you are bringing such an incredible energy, a different perspective, and the two of you together have come together in a way that can shake things up in ways really. We don't even know the full repercussions. So I'm going to turn it over to you to share about each of you, who you are and what you are here to share with us today.
Sure. I'll jump in first if you'd like me to, Abba. My name is, again, Martin Cowart. I have a spiritual name, and her name is Joy the Wise Woman. And I am a spiritual mindset coach, and I am here to really help people learn there is a power beyond themselves. I call it heart space. It is an energy of unconditional love that lies beyond the mind, where everything is happening in the world. And it's from this love energy that we create and we make things happen and we change the world. And I am on a mission to teach other LGBTQ plus people how to enter heart space, what Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. And I am on a mission to bring the entire world into this heart space. And most specifically, this really got opened up when I said yes to the divine and no to my rational mind, and went to Nairobi last November to meet Abba King Henry. I had no idea where this was going. It was against every single thing in my rational mind to go to Africa when I was needing to find some clients who could pay me for my fees and go to Africa to meet Abba. But I did it anyway, and I'm so glad I did, because when I met Abba, all of this that I talk about actually came into such full realization, because the moment I met Abba that very first night, I came home. I'm as white as you can be. But when I met this beautiful Black man, I came home. My soul came home. And I have not left home since. And I want to bring this home to every single human being on the planet. And we're doing it through our program together. And that's what I want for you. Because in the real terms, people are struggling with money all over the world. But that struggle is in our heads in many cases. It's not necessarily true in Africa. It's a reality in Africa that Alba's going to talk to you about in a minute. But on our side, that struggle with money is in our heads. We live in abundance. And my goal here is to connect the Western world with the queer African world to understand that we do live in a world of abundance and prosperity. And if we love and support each other, we can create a community, a virtual community that can change the world. Because we're already in that movement. We are already moving toward a world, and I don't mean some crazy utopia. I'm talking about a world that's built out of unconditional love energy, the unconditional love energy that everybody on this phone, everybody listen, has within them.
Yes.
So that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm here for. And now I will turn that over to my dearest friend and my agape brother, Abba.
Beautiful. Thank you, Martin. Abba, let's hear from you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'll first introduce myself as well. I'm Abba King, and I'm also known as Christ the King. That's my spiritual or my divine intuition. I'm an African activist, business leader, change agent, and I'm an LGBTIQ asylum seeker in Kenya. Where I'm staying, I'm living now, but I've a mission, or what I can say my mission is to lead a team of champions to the safe environment where we are building a sustainable community for all the LGBTIQ, all the Africans to be free to work, to live, and yeah, like they contribute to the economy of the country.
Excellent, excellent, beautiful, beautiful. And so grateful for both of you and the work that you are called to, this calling that both of you have that has brought you both together in service of helping to make sure that everyone, yes, everyone is abundant financially, so that no one is struggling, no one is just trying to even find food and shelter and live in safety, that these things can be the norm. These things can be how each and every human lives on a daily basis. So thank you both for coming together. I would love to hear a little bit about how you did come together. So would you tell us a little bit about your story of how the two from very different worlds have come together to meet in that first time?
Okay. Well, I remember one of the things I remember most was in the early days when I did offer him, he did want $50. I said, I'm not going to give you $50. I don't give out money, but I'm going to give you something I think might be of some more use to you. I'm going to give you my Joy the Wise Woman says to offer you a scholarship to my 12-month coaching program, which I offered him. And he's like, okay, I don't think I'll be alive in 12 months, but okay. And I remember in that program, him meeting me one day out in the field, and he couldn't communicate, but he could communicate. And I knew the one thing he needed more than $50 was to know he was loved and cared for. And I had a lot of that. I had a lot of love. And I did love it. And so I said, well, we got to fix this. So on my birthday, I did a special podcast and raised $800 to buy him a computer, a cell phone, and some other equipment so he could attend my course.
Wow.
Only to run into a new challenge, and that was to deliver it to him.
Right.
And it turned out it was going to cost me more to deliver it to Nairobi and then him to go get it than it was for me to get on a plane and fly to Nairobi and meet him. So that's what I did. I got on a plane and said no to my rational mind and my husband is, are you out of your mind? You need to build a business. You got to make some money. I don't know why, but God's calling me to go help Abba. And you know, this is something I've discovered. Who is your ideal client? My ideal client is the person who needs me the most. This man was clearly calling me for my help. And if I'm going to be true to my mission, I had to answer that call. It isn't about who can pay my bill. It's who needs me the most. And I'll let the vine bring that up. So I traveled to Nairobi in economy class. Took me 2 days to get there. Because I had to, it's just, flying.
Yeah.
During COVID, and it was, but I would do it over again in a minute. Because I'm going to tell you something. The night I got there, I'll never forget this moment. I just said it earlier. First of all, when I just met him, I felt something deep within me wake up. But I asked him to read. I took some books to him. And I asked him to read the last paragraph in the first chapter of Eckhart Tolle's book, A Whole New Earth. And in that, he talks about the awakening of human consciousness. Just 2 paragraphs. And Abba read that. He looked at me and said, when was this written? I said, in 2006. And he said, this is happening right now.
Mhm.
And I knew this man was spiritually aware, spiritually awake, much more spiritually awake than I was. It's like the Book of Mormon. I thought I was going to go there and teach him about the kingdom of heaven. Let me tell you what, and this is the main thing I want people to understand about the gift of the queer African people. Their heart is so big. I'll talk about them often as diamonds. And what happens to a diamond? We all have intrinsic value, but what happens to a diamond when it's put under extensive pressure? It gets more beautiful, it gets more brilliant, it gets stronger and more precious. That's what Abba is. And every African person, queer person I've met so far has this enormous heart. And that enormous heart, that energy is the power to transform lives. And that's how I met him. And in that week, we came to know and love each other through a program called the OPP program, which we're using in our program now to connect people at the heart. Because we're discovering that if you connect at the heart, we think we need jobs, we think we need money. I think I need a virtual assistant. I do need those things, but what we really need are people that can love and support us. What we need is love. What we want is love. What the African people want is love. What the American people want is love. And there is infinite supply of that. So when I discovered that in that first week with Abba, I just fell in love with one of the dearest, sweetest, most beautiful men I've ever known. I mean, an agape kind of love, not a romantic love, something that transcends romance, a deep human connection love that can change the world. And that's what we're doing. Another two pivotal things that I want to share about. One was the day before I was to fly back. I literally broke down into tears at breakfast with Abba. And Abba's like, what's the matter? And I said, Abba, it just breaks my heart that I'm going to fly back to my home that's comfortable in the United States with my husband, and you're going to get on a bus and go 2 days, and your life is going to be at risk every second of the day. And they tried to kill him 4 times between November and December. They tried to break into his hut in the middle of the night with machetes and kill him for the computer I got him. And I said, I'm going to get you out of there. I am going, this is something I can commit this is worth living for. I'm going to get you out of there, and we're going to get everybody else out. That's where this whole thing started. Was that with that promise, that heart-connected promise to Abba to get him out of that place.
Yeah.
And then he knew in that moment how much I loved him. He said he never had someone cry like that who loved him so much. He didn't know he was cared for that much. That's what he means by waking up. But he really woke up in December when my virtual assistant decided they didn't want to work for me anymore. And Joy the Wise Woman said, you're going to offer Abba a job as a virtual assistant. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. He doesn't know anything about, he hasn't seen a Google spreadsheet in 3 years, but I'm going to hire him. I don't know anybody that's going to care about me more and going to take care of me better. And that's what's important. I can teach him how to use a Google spreadsheet. I can't teach him to love and care for me.
That's right. That's right.
If he loves and cares for me, he's going to learn, and he has. And in that moment, I remember calling him on the phone, and I'd love to get Abba's side of the story, but I called him. I said, Abba, I got something for you. I called him from the beach in Puerto Rico. He said, what's that? I said, do you want to come to work for me as my virtual assistant? The pay is $180 a week. I'm going to tell you something. In front of both of us transformed in that moment to something bigger than we ever knew. I saved his life that day. I brought him back to life that day. He knew he was loved. He knew he was valued. And he had a future. He had some hope because he was finally financially free. And because he was financially free, we were able to petition the government and relocate him to Nairobi. So the first of this year, he moved to Nairobi to be my virtual assistant. And then he grew
Wow.
into becoming my business partner. Because we learned from this whole transaction the power of
Mhm.
unconditional love to change lives. And so we're
Yeah.
using what we're doing, and now we've expanded it to to more people. And we've moved,
Yeah.
I think we got 4 more people have moved out of the camp through this relationship building, this OPP, this building the relationship first, and then seeing what evolves from that. Because
Yes.
there's so much power, and that's what we're doing here. We're creating this virtual online community with relationships first,
Yes. Mhm.
so that we can
Mhm.
find out how do we love and support each other in the world. It may not be the obvious. It's probably not the obvious. It's
Right.
something much more exciting than that.
Yes. Yes.
So that's how we got here. It's really through allowing ourselves to love each other.
Yeah.
And hearing that call of love. So if Abba wants to add anything to that piece, I would love to hear his side of it, wants to add to it, but that's really it. It really is the power of that unconditional love energy within our own very own hearts that's made everything in the world happen so far, and it's going to make everything happen in the world in the future. And everything we do and teach over here at Financial Heart Space is about how do you create that connection? How do you unlock the gate to that unconditional love energy found within every single person's own heart?
That's it. That is so, so, so beautiful and so powerful. And that's got the order right. That's the right order. Heart
That is
to
the right
heart
order.
connection, unconditional love and connection first. Then how do we show that love? How does that love in action, right? How do we allow that love to show up in action? And supporting each other. And how do we do that in a way that is beautifully divine and unfolds in that divine order? I love your story, the two of you, how you've come together, how, and you know, we've had now a couple of calls. So I've been able to be on the journey with you a little bit. And I will tell you, Abba is like, has enough light to light up New York right now compared even to when we first connected. And it is just so beautiful to see that, to see the two of you and how this has been unfolding. And I'm so glad to hear that now there are more who have made that heart connection, right? That unconditional love connection, and are now also being pulled out of those situations and into, you know, stepping up, right? Into abundance, into safety, into a community of real love and support. So this to me is this is why I said all that I said at the beginning, because how this has unfolded is so beautifully divine. And seeing you now, Abba, in this new place, the two of you now as partners in this endeavor to now help so many others to do the same, right? So that's now what you two have come together to do, is now say, okay, we're doing this. And now let's help so many others on both sides, right? There are more Martins out there and there are more Abbas out there. And let's allow and make that divine connection happen. Yes?
Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
So you two took that basic core connection, that love that emanated, that began, that agape love, and have translated it into this beautiful model where each one is helping the other. I just want to give people a sample of your background, right? Because, you know, to have done all that you didn't come out of nowhere. You had quite an extensive background already in business and in finance. So tell us a little bit about that, because that helps us then to
Sure.
understand how it's
So,
become what it is today.
thank you for that. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So I was a wealth manager. I was a top producer in a Fortune 100 wealth firm with a big fancy office in Park Avenue. I mean, I had achieved levels of success that most people don't achieve in their lifetime. And then it all came tumbling down in 2019. I mean, sorry, 2017, when we elected this sort of dark energy into power in the United States. And it was so frightening for me as a gay man that all of a sudden I spiraled into a dark night of the soul. and literally went from being a top producer with a fancy office on Park Avenue to almost literally at the edge of bankruptcy. The fear and the conflict within me is all I could project out in the world, and nobody wanted to work with me. I didn't want to work with me. And
Right.
so in my deepest darkness, I had an opening of I went to my spiritual teacher, and she said to me, well, Martin, I don't suggest that you declare bankruptcy. That might make you feel a little better, but it's not going to solve the problem.
Right.
To solve this problem, you're going to have to do what you did 10 years ago with alcohol. You have to surrender this to God. Exactly what she meant, because I had surrendered it, but I never surrendered my control over money. Because I had this deep belief in myself, listening to my parents arguing about money, that if I wasn't rich and successful, I wasn't lovable. So I climbed that ladder to prove to the world that I was valuable, that I was worthy. And as a gay man, that's even more important. Because I thought, at least I could be a wealthy gay man, I could at least get my mother's love.
Right.
And when I got to the top, I realized that's just, and then I fell down, I realized that's not what it's all about. So,
Right.
so I did what she told me. I got on my hands and knees literally and said, God, I'm surrendering this to you. This is bigger than me, and I need your help. And I know you love me because you created me. We have a long relationship, and I've never turned over my money with you. I never turned over control, but I've made a mess of it. And I need your help. I'm going to tell you, this is the moment of shift for me. All of a sudden, when I fully surrendered this blanket of love energy just filled my body, filled me with, I would call it grace today. This unconditional love energy just filled me up. And Joy, the wise woman, I call her now, said to me, Martin, none of this stuff that you worry about matters. It doesn't matter that you make a lot of money. It doesn't matter that you're a top producer. It doesn't matter that you drive a BMW, which has been repossessed. I got it. All the stuff that you worry about, none of it matters. The only thing that matters, Martin, is that you show up with love and gratitude, and I will do the rest. I, the divine. And that was the moment of transformation for me. I didn't quite know how that was going to manifest, but that's the message that I got from God, from the divine. And I had been working on that ever since. That's how I became a spiritual teacher. I realized that what people really wanted, when they wanted financial advice, they wanted financial freedom. They didn't want financial. I could show them all sorts of plans that would give them more money they could spend in 25,000 lifetimes.
Right.
But if they were attached, emotionally attached to their money, they were going to be struggling. I don't care how much money they had. What they really wanted was someone that could guide them into a space to free them from their emotional attachments for money, to know they are worthy, just like you said, from being intrinsically a human being. There is so much value in you as a human being. You don't have to do anything to prove your worth because it's true. And that's how I became a spiritual mindset coach. Because and then I began to lead my life from my heart and not with my head.
Yeah.
And so we created this business. And what Abba taught me is that in our side of the world, in the Western side of the world, most of our conflicts lie in our head.
Yes.
Most of them lie in our head. We make up stories like I did that we're not worthy and we need to do all these things. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do this in order to prove we're worthy. On that side, and I'll let Abbas talk more about that, is that it's completely the opposite. They don't deal with a lot of internal conflicts. They're too busy trying to deal with the external things that are telling them they're not worthy, not good enough, and they're not even employable because they're a curse.
Right.
So you flip those over, and we've got a lot to learn from each other.
Yeah.
Because they're going to teach us that the heart is the way to turn over that feelings of unworthiness. So we're building this virtual community to teach people how to come together with love and build the relationship first to solve the problems. People in the Eastern world, in Africa, where Abba lives, unemployment is their biggest problem.
Right.
our world, we're having the great resignation. People can't get help. And the problem is because they're trying to do it based on a transaction.
Right.
You cannot build community. You can't build anything on a transaction.
No.
You have to build it on love and relationships. And that's why we're building this community, to teach, to have people, both sides come together. And we're doing a program right now to use something called the OPP, which is a brilliant program. And we're actually, Abba and I did it when we were in Nairobi, and now we're bringing it to others, and we're going through a process for 5 days where people, and it's going to be the main core of our new community, by the way. But right now we're doing it as a pilot to bring together people from the East, people from the West, and it's working beautifully because as they get to know each other, they realize that they do love each other. And out of that love, the divine will show them exactly what they both need to support each other in moving the world forward.
Beautiful, beautiful, simple, elegant, excellent. That's it. That's just so simple, isn't it? It is so simple. One of those things you just go, V8 moment, as we would say.
I will say this, you can solve every single problem in the world with the force of love. The power of love, the beauty. It is love that has created the entire universe. And the beauty is it lives right here within our very own hearts.
That's right. That's right. It's free and available and unlimited. Limitless.
Unlimited.
That's beautiful. Excellent. So you've got this beautiful program, OPP. And how would people be able to connect with you and Abba and OPP? Tell us more about that.
Well, you can connect with me through Facebook or social media, Martin Cowart. We have a Facebook group called Financial Heart Space for LGBTQ people, business leaders and change agents. You can join us there. And we're putting together this brand new virtual community, a subscription virtual community. And the reason it's going to be a subscription is because it's going to be affordable. Because we want everybody to be able to access a private online community to build community.
Nice.
And that's really that's the core community where the Abba and I are building, because we know that it works.
Excellent.
So we want to build this virtual community, subscription community, asking for people on the Western side. We'll just use the Western side, it's easier to understand.
Yes.
To pay $97 a month to subscribe.
Yes.
Participate in the community.
Yes.
And what that $97 is going to do is going to give a scholarship to someone on the African side that needs the help to be a part of the community. So we bring the two communities, and then what that money is going to seed is a physical building, a community in Africa, a sustainable community in Africa that we, the LGBTQ people, own ourselves.
Yes.
For our people to live, to work, to love freely, and become financially independent.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And those on the Western side, also with that, they're going to be able to receive the help that they need for their businesses, right? For their work.
Exactly. And it's a coaching program. You're going to get all the same coaching programs that you get in my higher ticket programs. You're going to get kind of heart-centered coaching from me and Abba to get into this heart space so you can live your lives of dreams and prosperity.
Beautiful.
So a coaching program and a community to unlock your heart and bring you into heart space to change the world, to change your world.
There you go. There you go. That to me is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely it's just fantastic, because it is each side receiving what they need and giving what they're called to give. And that bringing both worlds together, East meets West, in ways where both are supported and both are nurtured and nourished and transformed. This is how you change the world. So I love, love, love this, Martin. I think this is, you know, the two of you are just brilliant and such beautiful lights. And I could just see this really, really making a difference for so many, yes, in the Western world who are doing that great resignation. They're starting their businesses. They're wanting to now do what they're called to do, right? Especially in the LGBTQI community. They're feeling that call to serve and to have their own, right? They do their calling, their mission, their ministry, whatever, yeah, their movements. And now they'll be able to have the coaching from you and be sustained with help for their businesses, for their mission, their movement, etc., by those who are in the West, who are now from that going to be able to live their lives freely and with abundance and in safety in community. So this is absolutely
let me just add one other thing that what you beautifully said, by the way, is that what I discovered is that I had a coaching business, but my coaching business, it's impossible. If you've got a until I hired until I hired some support, you cannot.
Yes.
This is a word out to anyone, any entrepreneur, any business leader. You cannot do it by yourself.
No, you cannot.
We're not wired to do it. If you're out there trying to build your business by yourself without at least one virtual assistant that can take over some and support you emotionally and spiritually.
Yes.
And I think every single entrepreneur is as a mentor on the outside, a coach, a mentor that you pay for. You've got to invest in your business.
Yes.
And so what we want to provide and what I've learned is that since I have taken the risk to hire Abba Henry as my virtual assistant,
yes,
who knew nothing about what it would take to do the job. I'm telling you, he did not even know what Google was, really.
Oh, wow.
He is now my chief of staff.
Wow.
We have a whole team of 3 people now, and we're doing it, and we are succeeding, and we're building this faster, more rapidly, more fun, more creative than we've ever done. That's what I want people to understand on our side. You cannot do it on your own. If you're trying, if you got a voice in your mouth saying, I can't afford it, let that stuff go. You can't help. You can't not afford it.
That's it. That's the catch 2022. I'm telling you, I so 100% agree. And having built my business, had a business over, past 25 years, that is the catch 22. So the thinking is, I have this call, I want to build my business, and then people try and do it all on their own. I did it too, right? And that's solopreneur, nonsense, right? And so they're trying to do all of this stuff on their own. But here's the problem. You get caught in the weeds. You get stuck in the weeds, and everything takes 10 times as long. It's usually not done as well because these are not your skill sets. And so the thinking is, what we say to ourselves is, I can't afford to bring someone on. So that's why we keep trudging by ourselves to get stuff done on our own. But the problem is now you're looking at everything taking 10 times as long, not done as well, and you're not enjoying your own business that's supposed to be bringing you joy. So that's the problem on the business side. But when you finally bring someone in who can support you, who can take some of those things off of your plate, you are freed up. Your energy is freed up. Now you can rise as the CEO of your business and see the bigger picture and do the things that you are called to do, that you are gifted in, and that really actually bring you joy, right? And make money for the business. And now that person, you're helping them, they're helping you and supporting you and taking those things off of your plate. And your business, your movement, your mission is moving so much better, so much faster, so much easier. I've been there, done that. So I cannot say enough about how true this is. Get help. And what I love about, this story is, for the Western person, that's not this crazy amount that a lot of people are charging, and it can really help. Whereas for someone in the Western world in Africa, I'm sorry, someone in Africa, that would be like life-changing income. And you're going to be helping them. They're going to be helping you like crazy. And that is really how, oh my gosh, you can build your business so much faster. You can finally enjoy it again, and it can really be profitable. So now that you've got that positive flow, both emotionally, internally, and financially. Martin, this is brilliant. There's one last question I have to ask that's just been begging to be asked. What does OPP stand for?
It stands,
OPP,
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, OPP stands for Omega Point Program.
Yeah, the
stands for
OPP program is not anything. It doesn't belong to the financial heart. It's not our program. I'll give you a little history on that.
it's just okay.
The OPP program, the Omega program, was designed by a good friend of mine who is who was one of the guys who helped found the Mankind Project and created a lot of the protocols for the new Warrior Training Adventure program, which is their flagship program. He took that program into the prison system in America, to Folsom, and they did a documentary on him a couple of years ago about the work he's doing. He took this work into the prison system, and he began to transform and save the lives of men, some of them incarcerated for life. And I went into the prisons with him and did some men's work.
Wow. Wow.
So he took this idea and he took it to work. And during COVID, he took all of his understanding and created this very simple, self-directed program that's free. You can go to his website, Omega Point Program, and anybody can download the program and anybody can go through with somebody else. It's self-directed, it's simple, it's easy, and it's very easy to use, and he wants people to use it. What we're doing is very similar to what he did in the prison system. We're taking this program beyond just being a kind of an exercise in learning to get to know yourself, and we're actually using it as a foundation for building community.
Excellent. That's it. That's what I wanted to know, because that's so beautiful. It's so clear that you have a plan, that you have, a step-by-step process that you are moving people through. And that's the piece that I really wanted to tap into. So this is really fantastic. You're taking that model and you're implementing it to build this beautiful community that's helping and supporting both sides in transformation. So I love it. Love it, love it, love it.
That's exactly what we're doing. We have this community and we're using this wonderful program that's available to he's thrilled, by the way. I know him, he's thrilled. He loves because he resonates. And he took some of the stuff and went into the prison system. He loves that we're taking his invention and actually saving 1,000 lives in Africa with it. That's what we're doing. We are literally using this power to save 1,000 people's lives who are currently in danger.
Beautiful. Can't say it better. That to me is a perfect place to close this, because that's what I want to really reverberate in everyone's heart who is listening right now, to know that in doing this, in joining Martin and Abba, you will be saving 1,000 people's lives and helping your own in the process, helping your own business in the process. Martin and Abba, I cannot thank you both enough for coming and sharing your story, your journey, and this powerful movement that you are creating together right now. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank all of you for tuning in, for joining in, and for taking action in your own life, in your own business, your own movement, your own mission, and in the lives of those who are in Africa, that it is truly a win-win-win. Thank you all for being with us today. Big love, big blessings. Bye-bye for now. Remember, it's all about love. Bye-bye for now.